Sanbonani guys, welcome back to yet another video, and we are speaking about the Bala family season 2 episode 2. So now this episode guys is the whole episode basically is centered around preparations for the funeral for Utatu Chafta's funeral. Last week was the memorial service, so this week is in preparation for the funeral. So I guess next week we are going to see the final funeral, and maybe that will be a wraps on the funeral. But they did say that this whole season is going to be dedicated to Utatu Chafta. So we see basically the episode starts with Umama V arranging Utatu Chafta's clothes, and the clothes that are supposed to go to the mortuary. And guys, it's such a sad thing. Even though Utatu Chafta had a life, we had a wife, and Umama V probably had a life with her baby daddy, whoever, but it's still sad to see with him the way these people loved one another, and to see her having to continue with life without him. But that's the reality of things, guys. We all gonna go that way one day, but we just don't know who's gonna go first. And it was really a sad thing. We saw moments of her crying, and you can see that the reality is starting to kick in little by little, that Aibo isithandwa sakhe asisekho, you guys. And then there was a conversation where Mama V is sitting with her children and Utatu Chafta's son, and he says that there has been questions coming from his family regarding the way Mama V and Utatu Chafta got married. Now listen guys, I didn't get to watch season 1. So I'm not so sure, but now I'm starting to think, was Utatu Chafta and Mama V, did they get married in a proper way? Because why is there talks, even Pinky, it looks like last season, she made a big fuss out of Utatu Chafta and the way her mother got married. So why Ngati, or I know Utatu Chafta came and lived by Umama V's mother's house or father's house, but it's their family house, which obviously is not deemed culturally as not deemed as a good thing, because normally the woman will be the one who moves to the guy's family or to the guy's house, not the other way around. But now I'm starting to worry, like not worry, but now I'm starting to ask myself, like, what is the drama around the way they got married? Maybe guys, please clarify it for me in the comment section. But yeah, I want to know, did they actually do things in the right way? What is the drama around that? Because I feel like this drama between the way Umama V and Utatu Chafta got married is deeper than she actually thinks, and deeper than her children actually thinks. I think her son, Utatu Chafta's son, may know how deep it is, because he's saying his family is asking about it. Now, when he's saying his family is asking about it, one thing that I noticed, guys, that there hasn't been no elder from Utatu Chafta's family ever since this. Ever since episode 1, episode 2, I have not seen any elder from Utatu Chafta's family sitting down discussing the funeral. Now, there's a huge problem with that, because Emma Kloseni and the Xhosa tribe, they are big on that. Even if, let's say, Utatu Chafta doesn't have families, doesn't have a brother, there will be someone from the family who comes and stands in as an elder. The only person I'm actually seeing there is the one Sam. He's the only one there and talking around the funeral arrangements. Or maybe the family feels somehow of coming to even Umama V's house, because remember, that was not Utatu Chafta's house after all. So I'm just like, this drama is looking deeper than it is. That's number one. Number two, remember Umama V says that was her husband. So my question is, if that was her husband and people recognize that that was her husband, she is umfelokazi, she is a widower, you guys. And when you are a widower, your husband's family needs to come and kind of support you. Normally there'll be like a woman, an elderly woman who comes and supports you. They'll normally even tell you that how you're supposed to be dressed, even guide you by after the funeral's gone, like meluzile, like you need to mourn your husband, like these are the type of clothes you need to. I didn't even see not even one elder woman to come and from Datu Chafta's family to come and comfort Umama V. I didn't see anything like that. It looks like um Utatu Chafta's son is just letting in and roping in Umama V and her children just because he lived with them. But I don't think his family actually recognizes her as a wife. I only saw them at the memorial service, and I think they're only doing that for the sake of supporting their own. And you know what my problem is? Because the son is saying that the family is asking questions that he feels they need to speak about after the funeral has passed. Now, this is the thing with certain in laws and certain families. They'll be fine during the funeral with you contributing your money, taking out your money. And then after the funeral is done, then they want to create talks. Why do you want to create talks of whether someone was genuinely married to someone or not? You let them take out. Why didn't you guys? Why didn't you guys divorce? Why am I saying divorce? Why did you guys not bury him with your own money? Now they want to possibly create like talks after the funeral, whereas they accepted her money and her children's money. If it was me, I would have just closed off those talks because no one is there. Or is it me, guys? Did you guys see any family from Tatu Chafta besides the son who keeps on coming to support Umamu Chafta as Umfenuwas? I did not see anything of them. So I'm just like, I foresee a lot of drama around that in this season. And then Uzwai, you guys, I'm just like, Uzwai, does Uzwai have anger issues or what's his issue? Because one thing I've noticed about Uzwai, when he's having conversations with his family, he'll just keep quiet when there's something that's said that offends him. But in his diary session, he's fuming. I'm just like, why don't you say there and there with it? That's not funny. You don't like that instead of like, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just getting with like vibes from Uzwai. Like there's a lot of resentment that he has, or a lot of anger issues that he has, or a lot of things he wants to say, but he doesn't say. And I don't know why he doesn't say. So Uzwai anyway has a problem with Upelo. And it looks like Upelo is just has been this kid who has been irresponsible again. I did not watch season 1, so I don't know if Uzwai is coming, like if he is granted to be feeling in that way. I don't know how Upelo is in terms of his money and all of that, but to me, the way I saw things, I just feel like Upelo, he lacks direction. He lacks direction and he lacks being led. I feel like from the way I'm seeing things, and remember, I stand to be corrected because I'm talking and I'm judging based on what surface level type of things. I feel like Uzwai and Uloyiso had the privileges of growing into fame. And that's the thing. The beauty of growing into fame is that you grow and you learn certain things and you gain the experience and the muscle of certain things. Now, according to me, I don't think Upelo have that privilege of growing into into fame. I feel like he was kind of, by the time he matured, he was already famous. He had already had these big opportunities, and I feel like that's the thing of being born into fame to a certain level, is that if your brothers and your family did not take the time to show you and to make you appreciate what you have, because you were born into it, you don't have you don't appreciate things the way others appreciate it. Just the way Uzwai was like, they have the Pala name, like Upelo is not standing for himself only. Like if he does something wrong, altogether he's representing the Pala family in a wrong way. And I agree. But Uzwai has the privilege of knowing that because he's worked his way, they've worked their way into the fame. Upelo, I don't even think he thinks that far to think that he's impacting the Bala family type of thing. So I feel like Upelo lacks discipline, and I feel like I'm not seeing the discipline there. I don't know if they've done it for him in season one, you guys, but I feel like there's a lot of discipline, even when it comes to finances, the way he's dealing with his finances. These are conversations in a child is kind of born into fame. They need to learn handling money, you guys, because I mean, if you don't learn how to handle money, you can, like, how many celebrities have had the same story as Upelo, ending up canceling gigs, ending up in debt, like, and he's too young for that. So that's why I'm saying I feel like it's a lack of them, the brothers and the family, disciplining him and instilling discipline. Again, guys, I stand to be corrected. Maybe they have tried to do that, and maybe it's an issue of that Upelo has never taken accountability. But Oloyiso does seem to be a little lenient on Upelo, because while Uzwa is going on about Upelo and basically saying Upelo has not taken responsibility, it looks like Oloyiso is kind of, I don't know whether I want to say a soft spot, because in as much as Upelo's young, he's not that young, you guys. He is an adult. So Uloyiso looks like he has a soft spot, or it looks like, I don't know what was he trying to do there, but it looked like he was trying to speak up for Upelo. But I really do hope that they have a conversation amongst brothers and resolve that, because it needs to be resolved at the end of the day. So yeah, it looks like Upelo's going through a midlife crisis. I feel like there's a lot of things that internally Upelo is going through that he doesn't speak about. So I'm hoping on this season, maybe, because where does his drinking issue stem from? I noticed Utu's why looks like he also has a drinking issue. So I'm kind of concerned with, like, this drinking issue. Is it a family thing, or where is it actually stemming from? And then I'm seeing a conversation between Umamavi and Uzwai. That's why he's talking about his ex-wife Uayanda coming to the funeral, Utatu Chafta's funeral. Basically, he feels like, why should she be here whereas we're no longer together? And if we're no longer together, then at least she should say something. But it looks like they are not on good terms. And I mean, I get where he's saying, look, why should she still come? Maybe, okay, funerals are kind of different, because she knew Datu Chafta, and apparently her and Datu Chafta used to speak, and Datu Chafta used to check up on the babies or check up on her child. So I think maybe she feels an obligation towards Datu Chafta because he tried, and why that's the reason why she's coming to the funeral. And because her and Uzwai are not on good terms, maybe that's the reason why she felt she didn't see a need of actually saying anything to Uzwai. But Uzwai says that now he wants to move to Cape Town, wants to get a house there, and he's planning on living with his current baby mama there. And Umama V says that Uzwai never came to her and actually formally told her that he is no longer married to Ayand. And I'm thinking, and Uzwai, how does he do things? Guys, and people get divorced before they even get to the point of being divorced. Don't people notify one another's families, and then people's families come together and then they say, okay, the kids have so and so issue, blah 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 blah. You're telling me nothing like that happened with Uzwai, and already he's moving in with the baby mama? Come on. Now I'm starting to get over why is it such a big thing when it comes to Uzwai's romantic life, because it seems like Anna, he just jumps from, once he's moved on, once he's tired of this, he just jumps onto something new. Like, when you're married to someone, there's a way there's a way things need to be done formally. I'm hearing Umama V saying amalobola, that Ayanda's family owes him amalobola. I'm like, njani phela amalobola don't get taken back. Like, how do you ask for amalobola back, whereas there's never been any type of meeting to even discuss something like that, even to discuss, because maybe you would get amalobola back if families meet, and maybe it happens that the girl did something wrong and her family admits, the girl was in the wrong, and we are willing to give back the lobola. But how is lobola supposed to be given back? Uzwai, I'm just like, Zwai, like, can you just do things in a proper way? Because it's starting to give you like a not so good name. But it looks like Uzwai, the baby that he has coming, with the baby that he has, is not even something he's told his family about, because even Uloyiso He's speaking because uzwa ngama he's hearing on the streets. I'm like, oh no, so when he's saying he's hearing from the streets, which streets? Like, I'm just like, I don't know, like which streets? Even the joke he made, he knows his brother. Why did he make that joke in front of Upelo around someone having a child? Obviously directing it at Uzwai. Why didn't he just not have a conversation with Uzwai on the side about him having a child? But then again, I don't think Zwei is the type of person who you'd have a conversation about him having a child like that. But I just feel like Uzwai and Ulois, I feel like they've got a beef that's going on there. And they're not willing to speak about it because I feel like they keep throwing jabs at one another and it's subliminal kind of jabs. So yeah, you guys, that's basically the wrap up of episode 2. As I said, next week we will see the actual funeral. I'm curious to see, but Dr. Chafta's family ngathi bazozange drama. But it looks like the son is trying to conceal the drama that's coming with the passing of Dr. Chafta and his marriage to Umama V. Anyway, if you did get to watch the episode, tell me what did you think about it. Please do make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe. It is absolutely for free of charge, and I'll see you guys in the next one.